Shri Guru Garangandhar Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shri Gurudev Ki Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityal Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Kṛṣṇa-līlā Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nityal Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhaktivedānta Thakur Ki Jai Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrind Ki Jai Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gora Mandala Braja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Ki Jai Shri Amuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Kuti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutte Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindayai Tulsi Devai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namah Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Ganga Mataji, I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there, and some other devotees. If you write a comment, I'll see your name. Also, the pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi and Jayadev Prabhu. Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, and Rupa Raghunath Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. So today's reading is going to be extra short. I don't know, maybe it'll be like 15 minutes, I don't know. But we're just going to read this short article by Srila Bhaktivedānta Swāmī Prabhupāda. What is it called? Śrī Kṛṣṇa-līlā and Mundane Sense Gratification. I'm making the reading short today because I have a lot of work I need to get ready before a meeting that I'm going to have soon. So I just, but yeah, this is Srila Prabhupada speaking in the New Dwarka Temple in Los Angeles. I think I mentioned this yesterday, right? My mother painted the design on the side of this picture of Krishna here. My mom's a very good artist, but she didn't get to do much art because she had a child very soon after joining. And so then she wasn't able to, but when she was on the art team, she managed to do a little bit. All right. Okay, so this article is, where is it from? It's from Srila Prabhupada wrote this for Śrī Kṛṣṇa-līlā, Year 9, Issue 11. This was published in 1959. So during our Param Gurudev's time. Is human misery a pastime of God? Is God responsible for all the varieties of misery that man must face or not? Sorry, or not? Yeah, is he responsible or not? When a Swāmī, who is a regular visitor to Delhi, was asked this question by the good Dr. Sharma, he presented his answer in front of everyone in the assembly. He said, "The miseries visible in human life, whatever they may be, are all a pastime of the Lord." Dr. Sharma lives and practices medicine in Delhi. He is a keen seeker of truth and an avid reader of our Back to Godhead magazine, and he often inquires for me on a variety of topics. The good doctor found the Swami's answer to his question completely unsatisfying. He countered by saying that if all of a person's activities are to be considered a pastime of the Lord, then why is it said that man must experience the results of his own pious and sinful activities? And Haribo Rupa Raghunath Prabhu. So yeah, why is it said that a man must experience the results of his own pious and sinful activities? When the Swami attempted to justify his explanation simply by repeating the same phrase, "It is all a pastime of the Lord," then Dr. Sharma exclaimed in the midst of that assembly, "I am not satisfied with your answer." But the common people in the audience were simply listening to their arguments. No one could understand the essence of the topic, nor did anyone even try to understand it. On many occasions, we too come across this question, which is ever stirring in the human mind. Why did God create so much misery in this world? Is it all his pastime? The truth, though, is quite different from what this question implies. Among all the meaningless obstacles monists have created in this world by conceiving of God and the living entity as existing in total oneness, none is more severe than the introduction of this particular type of doubt. The activities of souls that are imprisoned by the material energy are mundane. But these impersonalists, on account of their claim that God and the living being exists in total oneness, are obliged to attribute such mundane activities to the pastimes of God. Without doing so, they would not be able to reconcile their statements like God is in distress or God is begging alms. Therefore, it is not possible to support the doctrine of impersonalism, a doctrine which completely destroys one's spiritual life, without concocting the alleged divine theologies that are conveyed by statements such as Narayan has become impoverished to enact the pastime of begging, or Narayan has become a pig to enact the pastime of feeding on stool, or the Supreme Spirit in the form of deliciously prepared chicken eggs is reposed within the belly of that same Supreme Spirit in the form of a holy mendicant, and the like. It is for this reason that Sriman Mahaprabhu clearly stated, Mayavadi Bhashya Shunile Hoy Sarvanash. Hearing the commentary of a Mayavadi completely destroys one's spiritual life. As long as this form of artificial spiritualism, known as impersonalism, is not expelled from this world, the common man shall not be able to comprehend Śrī Krishna's identity, nor his name, qualities, and so forth. Foolish people readily accept such malformed theologies simply because they are sold out, simply because they're sold out to their sect. But they are unable to comprehend the real implication of their conception. What else could be the fate of a common man who keeps the harmful association, who keeps the asat sangha of the impersonalists, but to be misled and converted to atheism, only to engage in mere sense gratification? Transcendental pleasure necessitates variety. In all the Sattvata Tantras, and in various Vedic, all the treatises on the science of worshipping Śrī Krishna, and in various Vedic literatures such as the Puranas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Śrī Krishna, is proclaimed to be Lila Purushottam. He is the Supreme Person who is always engaged in charming transcendental pastimes. And this same topic has been given special attention in chapter 15 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, entitled Purushottam Yoga. The severity of the damage caused by the Mayavadis, the impersonalists who consider all variety to be an illusion, and equating the transcendental pastimes of Lila Purushottam Śrī Krishna with the ordinary mundane activities of a mortal human being, is indescribable. At one point in Srimad Bhagavatam, as Srila Shukadeva Goswami was establishing the unequaled and unsurpassed position of Śrī Kṛṣṇa-līlā, King Parikshit inquired about an apparent indecency. In reply, Srila Shukadeva Goswami explains to the king that Śrī Kṛṣṇa-līlā can never be indecent. He who is the sole enjoyer of all in the entire realm of material nature, Prakriti, and who is residing in the hearts of all the living beings as Antaryami, that Śrī Krishna, who is witness to the intelligence of all, manifested his transcendental form during his pastimes with the damsels of Braj. He thus exhibited supreme benevolence towards his devotees by manifesting the divine Ras Lila of Goloka, even within this material world. He manifested this divine Ras Lila of Goloka even within this material world. And there's a footnote here. It says, cf. Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto, chapter 30, especially the verse beginning, Vikriritam Braja Vadu Viritam Vishnu. Okay. In the Vedanta Darshan, or the Vedanta Sutras, the Sutra Anandamayo Bhyasat, the supreme truth, the supreme absolute truth, the Parabrahma, is full of rapture. The scriptures repeatedly describe him as such. So this sutra, which is Vedanta Sutra 1112, points exclusively to Parabrahma Śrī Krishna. The impersonalist commentators encounter extreme difficulties when they try to explain the sutra, because they cannot comprehend the true meaning of rapture, of ananda. They just try to protect the reputation of their sampradaya by saying, hoi hoi. Hoi hoi means, yes, yes, it is so. So, yes, yes, there's ananda. But the simple explanation is that rapture, ananda, can never be experienced in undifferentiated oneness. Accordingly, Brahma cannot be alone. For how can rapture, how can ananda exist without the existence of some kind of variegatedness? And how then can someone ever experience rapture if he conceives of Bhagavan as devoid of any distinguishing features? Such a conception can only reside in the brain of an impersonalist, No one else could ever conceive of such a thing. Srimad Bhagavad Gita 12.5 has therefore clearly mentioned that there is no limit to the miseries of the impersonalists. Kleshodhi karatas tesham avyakta sakta chetasam. Is there still internet? Let me just check. Sometimes the internet goes out when the power goes out. Looks like there's still internet. Great. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, so Srimad Bhagavad Gita is therefore clearly mentioned that there's no limit to the miseries of the impersonalists. And that verse says, those whose minds are attached to the featureless absolute truth must experience great difficulty. For how can an embodied soul fix his mind on something unmanifest? Why are big cities like Delhi so populated? These cities have a special allure because they offer countless forms of enjoyment. They feature wide open roads, enormous skyscrapers, spacious parks and gardens, a variety of vehicles for transportation, a plethora of centers for entertainment and recreation, different businesses and trade centers, and a broad diversity of cuisines. On account of all this, people are gradually flocking into the cities just as insects rush into a dazzling fire lamp. Enchanted by the beauty of the countryside, the English poet Cowper stated, I don't know how you say his name, but anyways, yeah, Cowper, he stated, God made the country and man made the town. That's in The Task. But the natural beauty of a village is also just a special variety of allurement, which itself evokes a certain kind of enjoyment. Be it in the village or the city, everyone is simply mad to experience some special variegated pleasure. How can it be denied, then, that rapture exists in a state of abundant variety? The impersonalists assert that just as mundane variegatedness is illusory, transcendental variegatedness is also illusory. This alone is their most incurable ailment. The conclusion that the Supreme Absolute Spirit would also not experience rapture without such variegatedness is clearly established in the Sutra Anandamayo Bhyasat. Anandamayo Bhyasat. Wait, what's going on here? Oops, I didn't go all the way to the bottom of the page. The ploy of the impersonalists. That Swāmī from the assembly had renounced his home and accepted the attire of a renunciant. He too is especially striving to taste Brahmananda, spiritual rapture, while remaining exclusively within Delhi's city limits. And indeed, how would he have been able to experience the Brahmananda of relishing a cup of tea and resting in an opulent Delhi palace? Or the Brahmananda of being in the company of beautiful young ladies, if he had instead taken up residence in some dull, monotonous forest? Still, he does not fail to render God featureless. Unquestionably, that Swāmī is himself a specimen of Brahma. If those Brahmas who are in the grip of Maya, that is, the infinitesimal fragments of spirit, so if they can be so attached to material variegatedness, then why can't Brahma, that is the supreme spirit, Bhagavan, who is ever liberated, be attracted to transcendental variegatedness? Only the depraved impersonalists can foolishly assert that variegatedness only exists in mundane matter, and hence they dare to manipulatively equate their own mundane sense gratification with Līlā. Apart from such manipulative rationalization, the impersonalists could find no recourse for their blatant sense gratification. According to them, all material variegatedness is temporary and corporeal. It's all a chit. They therefore find it difficult to accept any kind of variegatedness, and so try to establish that the pastimes of the Lord too are corporeal and temporary. But the Vaishnavas, who are the particles of dust affixed to the lotus feet of he who enjoys transcendental variety, they know very well that the existence of Chid Vilas, the playful dalliance of transcendence, in no way denies the existence of material variegatedness. In fact, material variegatedness is a perverted reflection of its eternal, transcendental counterpart. As such, the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, quite opposite to their perverted reflection, are in fact the supreme eternal truth, which completely vanquishes all deception. Therefore, variegatedness is also present in the transcendental world, where the playful dalliance of transcendence is supremely admirable. This alone is the true meaning of the sutra Ananda Mayo Bhyasat. The supreme absolute truth of Parabrahma is full of rapture. The scriptures repeatedly describe him as such. Just worship Govinda. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, is the embodiment of Sat, Chit, and Ananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. And to amplify his bliss, he has expanded himself in two ways. Expansions of his own personal form, Svaṅksha, and his infinitesimal separated parts, Vibhinaṅksha. The argument that by expanding himself to become many, he has lost his own identity, goes against the purport of the hymns from Shruti, Pūrṇasya Pūrṇam Adaya Pūrṇam Eva Vashishyate. Whatever emanates from the absolute whole is itself completely whole, and even after unlimited complete wholes emanate from him, he remains the absolute whole. That's the Śrī Ishupanishad invocation. This mantra declares the existence of the Supreme Absolute Being. He is Ekam Eva Advityam. He is one without a second. That's Chandogya Upanishad 621 and also Vedanta Sutra 112. But just as fire is one, yet exists everywhere, he exists in his spiritual abode of Goloka with his multifarious potencies, where he engages in his eternal pastimes. And he alone exists within the heart of every living entity. He lives within the heart of every living being as the indwelling supersoul, Antaryami. So in this manner, Lila Purushottam Bhagavan has indeed expanded his pastimes everywhere. But the transcendental rapture of these pastimes can never be equated with mundane pleasure. Manas are actually attracted to nothing but Bhagavan's bodily effulgence, the Brahmajyoti, which pervades all that is. They have thus become beggars, aspiring for spiritual rapture or Brahmananda. When even the luster of the toenails of Sri Bhagavan's lotus feet contains millions of Brahmajyotis, then how can Bhagavan's pastimes or the rapture therein be material? The insignificant living beings can easily become attracted to spiritual rapture, to Brahmananda, because it is many millions of times more substantial than the pleasure available in inert matter, Jarananda. But the eternal pastimes that have manifested for the pleasure of Sat Chid Ananda Vigraha Śrī Kṛṣṇa are one of the special characteristics of Krishna's internal potency of pleasure, the Hladini Shakti. And the pastimes that are manifested by that potency are called Kṛṣṇa-līlā. Those who are inclined towards Brahmananda are not able to comprehend even the smallest fraction of that divine Kṛṣṇa-līlā. Considering it to be just like mundane sense enjoyment, they engage in practices that are devoid of any joy. It is impossible for anyone to comprehend the subject matter of Hladini Shakti until one becomes qualified to delve deep into the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. Since the impersonalists cannot attain the necessary qualification to fathom the deep meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shripad Shankaracharya has written a commentary on Vedanta named the Sharira Shariraka Bhashya, just to bewilder them and ensure that they remain occupied only with his commentary. This deed was in truth a pastime carried out by Sripad Shankaracharya for the purpose of misleading the demons. Sripad Shankaracharya actually knew everything. As such, up to his last day, he actually instructed the dull-headed Mayavadis just to perform loving worship of Sri Govinda. This mundane plane, which caters to the human being's thirst for sense enjoyment, is nothing but the arena of the threefold miseries. Transcendental pastimes can in no way be enacted on this mundane stage. There is no one more untraditional and contrary than he who considers the divine pastimes of the Lord and the living beings material sense enjoyment, which is simply the result of their previous karma, to be one and the same. It is to be understood that it is simply due to the insurmountable material energy's influence upon the impersonalists that they plan to become full of pleasure in this mundane world. Any intelligent person can easily understand that this world is not the place to take up permanent residence. That realization is indeed absolute truth. It is very different from the notions that have arisen out of some counterfeit scriptures, are the school of half-baked ideas. In a world full of miseries, mundane sense enjoyment is nothing more than the result of attempting to eliminate distress through mundane endeavors. Everyone here endlessly endeavors with all their vitality to fulfill their dreams of achieving happiness. But such endeavors are also part of this mundane illusory plane. The influence of the material energy is so intense that it renders our endeavors unsuccessful hundreds of times over. Does that then mean that we should give up all kinds of effort to achieve happiness? No, that is not possible. But we must engage in that pursuit in which even a small endeavor can free us from the most fearful troubles. Swalpam apasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Those who engage themselves in the activities of Sanatan Dharma, that is Bhagavat Dharma, the spiritual duty to Bhagavan, even slightly, will surely be delivered from the most severe terror, fear of death, and the dread of any hellish fate. That's Srimad Bhagavad Gita 240. So yeah, translated from Śrī Kṛṣṇa-līlā, year 9, issue 11, 1958. All right, that is our reading for today. Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Nandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai, Jai Shri Guru Dev ki Jai, Jai Shri Param Guru Dev ki Jai, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai, Saparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gan ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Vijay Kishivascha Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Champak Mataji, and on YouTube and Facebook, I see Ganga Mataji. I know Indira Mataji is there. Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Rupa Raghunath Prabhu, Vidyalala Sadidi, and Shripad Bhaktivedānta Sajan Maharaj. Dandavat Pranams Maharaj. So Indira Mataji mentions to me that Thursday, which is tomorrow, is Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj's appearance day. Appearance day. I'm guessing in I'm guessing in on the other side of the world in North America, or because it's his appearance. His appearance day is the day after tomorrow here in India on Friday. But I think it's nice to read something the day before, the day of, and maybe even the day after. So I think that's what we'll be doing over the next 3 days. Well, 2 or 3 days, let's see. We'll read some articles by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. They are, they're so, his articles are so powerful. So, I don't know what the feeling I get, but it's just so pure and clean and cuts away any kind of pretentiousness of duplicity and simple. And anyways, I always get very inspired anytime we read anything from Srila Bhakti Puri Goswami. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Hari Bol. Also, pranams to all the devotees watching in the future. I forgot to mention Shachi Devi and Jai Devi. Hari Bol. All right. See you all tomorrow.